My name is Grace, and I never expected that a single letter could change everything I thought I knew about my life. Sometimes it's the smallest things that lead to the biggest revelations. A misplaced word, a glance, or, in my case, a forgotten envelope. This is the story of how one letter unravelled the carefully constructed lies of the man I loved. James and I had been together for 7 years. He was my rock, my best friend, the man I thought I'd grow old with. He had a way of making me feel safe, like nothing in the world could touch us as long as we were together. From weekend getaways to quiet nights watching movies, we had built a life that felt solid, unshakable. But looking back, I realised that even the strongest foundations can hide cracks beneath the surface. It all started on a Saturday morning. James had left for a golf trip with his friends, something he did once every few months. I decided to spend the day cleaning the house, something to keep me busy while he was away. While dusting his desk, I found an envelope tucked beneath a pile of papers. My first instinct was to leave it alone. It was addressed to James, after all. But then I noticed the handwriting. It wasn't from a bank or a business. It was personal. And at the bottom, in delicate cursive, it said, "Yours, always, Rebecca." I felt a jolt of confusion. Who was Rebecca? Why was she writing to James? My curiosity got the better of me, and I opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note, and as I read it, my heart began to race. Rebecca wasn't just anyone. She was someone who had been a part of James's life for years, someone who loved him deeply. The letter spoke of stolen moments, of whispered promises, of a future they dreamed of sharing. But the part that broke me was the date. The letter was written last month. During the weekend, James told me he was on a business trip. My mind was spinning. I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding, that Rebecca was exaggerating or mistaken, but the doubt had already taken root. I started looking for more clues, things I had ignored before. His sudden late-night meetings, the way he guarded his phone, the trips that didn't quite add up. And then I found it. An email account I didn't recognize saved on his laptop. It was under a pseudonym, but when I opened it, the truth was staring back at me. Hundreds of messages between James and Rebecca. Photos, plans, even discussions about me. They weren't just having an affair. They were planning a life together, a life that didn't include me. When James came home that evening, I was waiting for him. The letter and the emails were on the table. He walked in, smiling, oblivious to the storm waiting for him. "What's all this?" he asked, his smile fading as he saw the papers. "Who is Rebecca?" I asked, my voice trembling but firm. His face went pale. He stammered, tried to come up with an explanation, but I didn't give him the chance. "Don't lie to me, James. I've seen the messages. I've read the letter." James finally admitted it. Rebecca wasn't a fling or a mistake. She was someone he'd been seeing for 3 years. He said it started during a rough patch in our relationship, but that didn't make it hurt any less. What devastated me most wasn't just the affair. It was the depth of the deception. The life we had built, the trust I had in him, all felt like a lie. He begged me to forgive him, said he didn't mean for it to go this far. But I couldn't. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it changes you. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about love, about trust, about yourself. That letter was the beginning of the end for us, but it was also the start of something new for me. A life without lies, without secrets. This was my story. And if you've ever had your world turned upside down, you'll know. The truth may hurt, but it also sets you free.